Hey everyone, we're back in the studio with Justin and Joe for another episode of Friends with Death Benefits. It's just the three of us here tonight. We're just hanging out, talking about what the last 3 weeks have been like. Lots of comedy, lots of memories, and some dick jokes sprinkled in there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hey Justin.
Hi.
Hey Joe.
Hello.
We're back
It's been a little bit.
in the studio
Yeah.
on this, what is it, Monday? It's Monday.
Tonight is Monday.
Sweet.
But if you're listening, it's Sunday. Unless you
yesterday.
waited an extra day, then it's Monday again.
Ooh, yeah.
That's the weird thing about the internet. You could listen to this anytime, so time's an illusion, really.
Really? Isn't it always?
It's forever right now.
Or if it's years from now, it could be a new
Yeah,
day.
you never know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They might make an 8th day. You never know.
That would not be cool. I already struggle with the daylight savings time. Can you imagine if they added an 8th day?
We need to have more workers.
That's what I
8
said.
days.
It's true.
So I said to Joe when I
Capitalism.
walked up to the studio, I'm like,
Beetle
wasn't
Day.
the sun out last time we did this? When we got
Oh,
here?
yeah. Oh, that's
It's all
depressing.
dark and shit.
That's depressing.
I only knew it was you when you pulled in because you didn't use your turn signal. I was like, that's tough for sure.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
They're so observant.
I'm very excited and happy to see you, though.
I'm excited to see you, too. I'm
You know?
excited to see you.
Give you a little shit, give you a little compliment. yeah.
Boom. I did see you earlier in the week.
We did see each other.
yeah.
I forget.
We did see each other. So
don't forget.
It's forgettable. It was a forgettable experience.
I had a busy week. Yeah, it was. So Thursdays when I saw you,
Yep.
which was my third of 5 straight shows last week. Our open mic uptown that we do, and Tiff wrote some jokes and got on stage. And,
I did.
and did her. I mean, I think it was your second open mic, but I think last time you kind of were just making fun of me a little bit and like
What was
saying
the-
some random stuff.
Was it a random roast you weren't expecting the first time?
It was.
Oh, it was just the first time I was just talking about the podcast.
Yeah,
So,
you were kind of goofing, but you actually
good.
wrote some thoughtful bits that had
Yeah.
punchlines and
Yeah.
they
Do
were
one.
smart. And
Do one? Okay. You should I do one?
do maybe some of the stuff about
Why grieving moms make the
Yeah.
best friends?
yeah.
So we've talked on the show significantly about how your social circle gets really small, and grief will do that to you. But it's difficult for me because I've always been social, and now I feel like I'm kind of an elitist because grieving moms make such good pals to have around. And a couple of the reasons behind that is that we're clearly compassionate. We've been through a lot, so we know you've been through a lot. Your life always looks better in comparison to ours. We save you time. Like, for instance, if you're writing out an invitation to a dinner party or a party or something like that, you don't have to put the excerpt in that says no kids allowed. And I think what sets us apart from other groups of friends is that we're always, no matter the circumstance, always willing to take you in on the holidays, because there's a lot of people who are members of the Lonely Hearts Club out there, and it's not really because we're like extra generous. It's just simply because we have an open seat at the dining room table now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And for the
gotta-
record, she's got no notes.
That's
Yeah,
true.
no.
I don't
Yeah.
have any notes. Yeah. So I feel like I can really build on that and just keep getting darker, just keep going.
It was good. I was standing up front and we'd catch each other's eyes, and I felt like that dad waiting for their kid to hit that first pop fly and then run to first base with them.
Dad, did I do it? I did it,
Yeah,
Dad.
she
I
did it. She hit it.
Yeah.
Can add in something
got on
about
base.
we always have the coolest toys at our garage sale.
Oh, selling things cheap. Everything must go. Literally must go.
Yeah. I cannot look at this one day
Yeah, right.
longer.
Yes. Ooh, that's a good one. I'll add that in there. I just feel like you can just build and build on that. There's always going to be stuff
Absolutely.
like that. So yeah, that was really interesting. That was cool. I'd like to do it again. I need to work on some things, but I'd like to try it again.
Yeah.
But
It
yeah,
was Joe at the open mics.
I got to
these
get back.
days.
They start at 9. It's so late.
It is.
late.
You're a busy. Guy.
I'm a
You
boomer.
are. You're a busy.
I didn't
guy.
get on till like 11:10 or something. I was beat. I was really beat. That was.
I do want to get back though. I miss it. I miss the rush of purposely not having a set planned until like the night before, and then taking my best thoughts that I remember and trying to do something with
It
them.
makes it pretty organic for
Ooh,
sure.
I like that.
Is it the best thing that I could do? Probably not,
Makes
but
it a lot of fun though.
but it's fun for me. And then I've noticed that there are some jokes that I'm like, oh, the funny people
and
laugh.
as a
I'll
hob-
bring that
Yes,
back.
yes.
Yeah.
And as a hobbyist comedian, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
You already got a career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Right,
like,
yeah.
that's totally fun. Whatever
Yeah.
fucking is fun for you, that's how
Yeah.
you should do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah. I'm not trying to hit the big time. Not like Mr. Paulson over
I'm
here.
over here grinding as
Yeah,
hard
he's
as I
trying.
can.
But you had a really big thing happen on Saturday.
Yeah.
And
Probably
I'm-
like the biggest thing.
Probably the biggest
Ever
thing. Yeah.
so far.
Share.
I hope
share.
for bigger things in the future, but as of today, me and my tag team partner Jake Peterson, we did a show and we recorded it, and Joe actually engineered it. He came.
Oh, yeah,
and,
that's right.
So if you think the sound sounds good on the podcast, it's gonna sound good on the album too, because Joe knows what he's doing. And we recorded a half hour that we're going to release as a full length album together, like punk rock bands used to do, and they couldn't afford to go into the studio. They'd split an album with another band,
Yeah.
so you'd have like
Those are
an
the
album
best.
with two bands on it, and like
Those are the best.
usually only liked one of them. But so we're gonna do that, and the plan is to put it on Spotify and iTunes. And I actually want to make some vinyl. I think that would be super cool.
Oh, that would be super
But
neat.
Do you got a guy? Because I think I got a guy.
yeah, we'll talk after this.
Okay.
Joe
Yeah,
has
sure, I
all
don't
the
have
dudes.
a guy. I was been wondering about that. But what I really want to do is like with the iTunes charts, especially the comedy charts, albums are released so infrequently that if you get all your people to buy your album on iTunes, like within a very short amount of time, and you like flood it, you can get like a 10-minute window where you're number one
Right.
above, like it could say like my name, Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, and
That's
then I
all you need.
screenshot that shit and I ride that into eternity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, so that's kind of my hope for that.
What's the name of the album called?
You know, I don't know if we're going to come up with like a name, like a blanket name for the both.
Okay.
I kind of
It'll
thought
just be
we'd
Wolf
kind
Talks?
of, yeah, I want to call my half of it, everybody's trying their best out here, because that's a tag from one of my jokes. That's
Yeah.
just kind of how I feel about life in general.
Yeah.
Like everybody's trying their best.
Does Jake have
It's
a
hard.
tag for his?
I don't know for sure. We haven't talked a lot
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
I
right
like
on.
two dudes, one shirt.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The cover is, you'd have to see it. It's very interesting.
Okay.
But,
It's two dudes, and there's one wearing a shirt.
we did.
Is Jake? Oh yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
it
I
looks
know.
like an
yeah.
old timey, like old west
I've seen
photo,
it.
but like Jake's just haggard with no t-shirt on, and I'm standing like next to the chair, like the patriarchy.
It's so good.
Part of me wants to believe you went to the Minnesota State Fair and did that.
That's
Right.
what I'm hoping people will believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, do you want to go with the cowboy outfit, or are you
We're
looking
good.
for the saloon guy? Nah, actually, I'm taking
Jake's
stuff
like,
off.
I brought my own.
We're good.
Yeah, he's sitting in a. He's
Gonna
sitting
wear
like
my man sweater.
in a high back chair, man sweater. He does that.
Oh,
I'm
it's a furry
I'm a
fella.
fur trader.
Yeah, indeed. Yep. It's pelt that I'm bringing in.
Oh, that's so cool. But that's awesome.
Yeah, so we did that, and then that went really well as a sellout.
Yeah.
And with any luck, I think we'll probably be putting that in the next month or two. And then the very next day, I got an email getting offered my very first headlining spot at a comedy club this weekend.
Nice.
It's only 5 days notice, but it's a comedy club in Des Moines, and I'm headlining. Like
That's a really
I'm the
big
guy.
deal. Yeah.
And
How long of a set is that? For
half
headlining?
hour.
Half hour.
Ooh,
Okay.
man.
So
So you're set.
oh yeah, I'm good. I could do pick a half. I could give Tiff a list of jokes and she could pick the half hour if I could. I probably, if one time me and Jake did 2 shows in Wisconsin where the guy's like, I want to book you for 2 shows and pay you double your rate, but I want the shows to be completely different from each other. So me and Jake each did an hour, took a half hour break, and then did completely separate hours. So I got 2 hours in me, and that was 2 years ago. So I mean, I don't know if it's all awesome, but I got it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I can do it.
A lot of shit's happened since then.
But yeah, so you know, between that and it's like you start to think about like what a short. I've only been doing that a little under 5 years, and I'm about to headline a comedy club. Like it went from like, how could I try this, to have started an open mic. I've performed now 69 shows just this year in 8
Nice.
different states. I'm about to headline a comedy club in the capital of the state I've lived in my whole life.
That's super cool.
And like, it's very cool. And it hasn't even sunk in, I don't think, how cool it is.
Yeah.
And I got like a random message from a lady who went to my mom's church, a very nice lady. who's been one of the few people like who's randomly like checked
the one
in
that
on
checks
me
in
and
on
stuff.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a very surprising thing, but very appreciated.
Yeah.
And her name's Karen, which sucks that is such a negative because she's
Damn
the
it.
sweetest lady. And she sent me a message. It was like, I just wanted to let you know how, excited I am and proud I am, and that I see that things are going well for you. And, it's just nice to hear that. And it's like, but it makes you think, like, it got me kind of thinking about how different proud moments are going to be now when you can't share them with, you know what I mean?
Are they bigger? Do you feel like they're bigger?
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I do, but at the same time, it just feels like I don't feel like I have, like I've said this before, where like I don't feel unloved, and I know I have a lot of people in my corner, but my mom was the only one that was like 100% like completely, I was her kid. So she's in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone else has their shit.
For sure.
You get a portion of them, you know what I mean? Some more than others. But your mom is like all in, or at least, the good ones are.
Yeah.
And, I know it's not a perfect world, but, so it's like, that's your first thought in those situations where it's just like, oh man, what would my mom think of this? Like, would she be super proud? Would she be,
Embarrassed?
would she be slightly embarrassed because of what the context is? Would she, it's my show Friday night that I did uptown in Mason City. Right before the show, my 3rd grade teacher walked in. And the lady is cool. Like Mrs. Haugen, I'm going to just shout her out. She just retired. She was my teacher way back in, it would have been 93, 94, something like that. And she's one of them ladies who just, like I said, she just retired and she still remembers me and any other like student she runs into. Like she just like, they don't make teachers like that anymore. I don't feel like they're just like, they're invested in all their students. And I think I ran into her like 10 years ago and she remembered me and it blew my mind. And she walked in and saw me and beelined right for me and, said hi. And I met her husband for the first time. And I found it necessary because I'm inappropriate. And I have enough respect for the lady that I said, Mrs. Haugen, I need to tell you something. And she's like, what? And I go, I don't know if you know this about me. I was like, but I've been doing stand-up comedy for about 5 years. And she's like, I kind of had heard that. And I go, I have a lot of respect for you. And you're one of my favorite teachers. And I just need you to know before you go sit down that I'm going to say some fucking deplorable shit when I get up there. And I was like, and you just need to be ready for that. She's like, oh, I'm fine. It'll be great. And I'm like, okay. So
nice.
she stayed the whole show though. And I gave it the diesel. I didn't hold back.
That is awesome.
She wasn't around to talk afterwards. So I don't know what she thought. She might not say hi to me next time, but I still think she's
10
good.
years from now, I still remember what you said,
Yeah, you should
Justin.
have said that stuff.
I had a couple friends went to the show on Saturday, and they said it was great, and said that Jake slayed.
He did.
Yeah, that you did super well.
He did.
So,
It's funny because he has a way of saving that.
Yeah, he does.
All week we went to all these open mics and did all these shows, and he was just very like, whatever.
Yeah, he had the buckets.
And our opener Kelly, it scared her, like, because I was like trying to get like tuned up and zoned in and like just ready to go. So I was giving it my all at all these shows because she went and did all these shows with us. And after the show Friday night, she's like, I'm a little worried about Jake. I go, why? She's like, I don't know. He just seems like he doesn't have his normal energy. I was like, you wait till tomorrow. You just wait. And yeah, he did. There's a reason he's in the position he's in.
Yeah, you can't go 100 miles an hour all the time.
He knew
You gotta hold
right
back.
when to use it.
He even said it on Thursday night. He's like, fuck it. I'm just and he was messing up left and right. He's like, I don't care. I'm saving it for Saturday. And he still is funny.
And he did.
No matter
And now
what.
that's, forever recorded. So
That's cool. That's way
we
cool.
and also another strange thing I guess I forgot to mention is the bar that we did that show in, which we've done all of our features in. Like anytime we've ever tried to do a big local show, it's always been in that room. The owner pulled us aside when we got there that night and was like, hey, I sold the place to the Surf Ballroom. He's like, they're going to close down for a few months and reopen with like a new brand. He's like, but this is the last ever live event of any kind here. He's like, and it's you guys. And he's like, I just wanted to let you know. And so at the end of the show, I brought all them on stage and, made a deal of it. And because like I said, 20 shows in 5 years, it's done a lot of cool shit there. So it was kind of an end of an era for us too, where it's like, all these, the nostalgia and the excitement and the pride and everything.
We're going to have to figure out where to do the comedy festival then.
Yeah, we will. I think we're ready for a bigger room, though.
Yeah.
So, but it's just kind of, you can't help but have those moments of like, man,
Yep. Yep, I do.
And then it's all right after all the adrenaline wears off and you're home in your quiet living room. It's all back to like,
I'm sad as fuck.
yeah, this is still my life. And
Yeah.
That was fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
That happened.
Do you get that with your job? Like, because you have a really kind of exciting, fast-paced job sometimes. Like, are there events that you really look forward to, and then once it is done and over?
Sometimes, I mean, it used to be when I first started in broadcasting, I'd get home after an awesome show, and this is the first couple of years. And I'd get home at like noon or 1 o'clock, and my roommates would still be sleeping. And I'm just like amped from an awesome show and just like, yeah, let's go. Let's go do something. We should like go do somewhere and do something right now. And they're like, shut up.
Right.
We're trying to sleep because we're like early 20s people, and I don't know why you're awake right now and whatnot. But as I've gotten older, it happens less and less.
Sure.
I found a way to, I mean, I'm still like jacked after something like I can't go do an event and go to bed immediately.
Right.
Well, you're also signed up for 9 more events as soon as that one's over.
Right.
These
Yes.
days,
You're
so.
the busiest person I know.
But I mean, I sometimes like if it's super like everybody else is in bed and it's late and there's like nothing going on. There'll be times where it's like I don't feel like playing video games. It's too late to call anyone and talk to them. My wife's asleep. She's had a long day. I don't want to wake her up and bother her, so I'll just sit here and scroll for a little while.
Yeah.
And
then shut it.
then
kinda
just
shuts down.
shut down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you kind of learn how to come down.
Yeah.
But you can't just,
Turn it off.
and go to bed, anything like that.
That's been a weird one for me because, like, in my 20s, when I drank, I was very social. Like, I'm into being out and being social. And, like, especially doing a show where, like, all the attention's on you for a while. And you just, like, you're having fun. And, like, you want to, for me, like, I want to, like, keep having fun and hanging out. But the only setting that happens in around here is all based around alcohol. And I don't drink, so it's like it's weird for me. So it's like there's this like battle of, well, I want to be social, but I don't want to do what they're doing. And then it's like, well, it's fucked up that that's what it is. And it's like I'm mad about the people that are social because I can't be social with them because they're doing the thing that it's very it's a tangled web that I created in my brain.
Yeah.
But it's I think that, and that's part of like my wife's been telling me, like, obviously your friends and your family notice things about you that maybe you don't notice. And you, when we sat down and said, as I was telling you this a little bit, you kind of said you noticed too, but a lot more anxiety and like inability to like deal with things like at the proper speed and like after, and like winding down after stuff like that, or like the things I don't notice. But like, I think what's causing a lot of anxiety for me is a mixture of like we've said, like for me, like my mom was like a big safety net for me. And not only is that gone, but my mom was always also like because that's the worst thing that's ever happened to me, like worse than anything I thought would. You know what I mean? Because yeah, I've had some rough shit happen to me in my life, but for the most part, I was loved. I was well taken care of. I was provided the things that I needed. Not a ton of adversity in the grand scheme of things. And everything always seemed to be okay. And then something like that heavy happens to you, and it's a very quick dose of like, you know what? Everything's not going to be okay. And you're not fucking immune to the fucking ugliness of the world. And it was, the fucking truth of everything, and hardship catches up to everybody eventually. And I had this weird feeling of like, not only, yeah, bad shit can happen to me, and it could very well keep happening to me now that I'm aware that it can. And also the safety net that saved me from all that's gone too. So it's like, it's a total freak out. It really is. And I don't think about it a lot, but I kind of made myself today. And everyone seems to think therapy would be the answer for that.
Therapy, man. Therapy. I'm going twice this week. That's what kind of shape I'm in. Woo! Man. But you're giving it some thought, though, right?
Of course, I am. More than I have.
Awesome.
And, the whole run of things. So
Very good. I mean, like, it can only sharpen the tools, you know,
Right.
in the box. And like, come on, tell me that's not going to make for some good material. I mean, that'll be some good comedy material coming from.
Are you supposed to make your therapist laugh?
I do. I can't turn
I
it
don't
off,
know
man.
that.
Look at
Yeah,
me.
I don't know that I'll be able to not like run bits on whoever it is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. If you have a good therapist, they'll probably be like,
that's probably how I'll
you need to
pick.
knock that shit off.
You know,
Quit trying to manipulate me.
I'll only
Justin.
pick one that'll laugh at my jokes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, well, this
Hang on,
asshole
picking
doesn't
you
have a
here.
sense of humor.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
fucking out of here. We cut this short. I gotta
How many fives does it take to get a chuckle?
There you go. Yeah.
Does my insurance copay
Trying-
cover a
yeah.
couple giggles here, or what are we doing?
Trying to meet my deductible here.
But
Yeah. Nice.
it's it's for those that are loyal to the show. You notice we've been kind of gone for a little bit. I think it was about a 3-week break,
yeah.
and it really wasn't our intention. But we're people with, a lot of shit going on, and sometimes it gets heavy, and we just need a little break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As much as we like to talk about it and be there for the people that are listening and try to relate, it's like sometimes, as all of you know as well as we do, that sometimes you just got to take a fucking time out. And the reason for that is has it been a week or 2 weeks now? It's been about 2 weeks,
2 weeks.
roughly. Was the 1 year anniversary of Ethan passing away, Tiff's son. This week was the 1 year anniversary of
Yeah,
his
it'll
funeral.
be 10 days tomorrow. Yep.
So a lot of heavy memories, a lot of feelings being brought up, a lot of shit getting stirred, a lot of shit, a lot of shit, and
Yeah.
You know.
I think the week like leading up, because our intention was to come in here on the 9th and record. Like we had this idea that we were going to do just because, laughter is the best medicine. We thought that we would each write some jokes and we would kind of fire at random.
we were gonna try to get canceled.
We're gonna try to tell some real dark shit and try to get canceled. But at the time when we kind of had that brainchild, it seemed like a super great idea, and I think I went into the week with the best intentions to be able to do that. But it just started creeping up on me, and I don't really even know how to explain it. It just was like, it's that anticipatory feeling of like, okay, it's coming. It's kind of like, Christmas, but like Christmas came and it went and it wasn't bad, but the days before were rough and the days after were rough as far as the holidays go. But this is just a different thing. And I think a lot of it was, and I told myself I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't going to look at like my Facebook memories because I documented everything. Like in Facebook pictures and stories. So it's like in real time, you're seeing it, and of course, and I told myself I was going to do it, and I logged out and I took the app off my phone and everything. And I went back and I completely punished myself the entire week and did it every single day. And I don't know why. I think some of it was just that I missed him so much. I wanted to see him. I wanted to see him move. You know what I mean? But, he gets sicker. You can see him getting sicker as the videos go on. And you can see my fatigue really getting a hold of me. And in fact, I think the one video that really got me was, I think it was like 2 days before, or maybe it was the day before everything happened. I was doing a Facebook story and I was crying about how exhausted I was and how I just wished that we could catch a break. And he just, this was going on and this was going on. And I just wanted to get out of there and it was hell. And I was so tired. I just remember just crying. I'm so tired. And I lost 11 pounds while I was there. I mean, it was just rough. And I just felt so much guilt watching that one because like he was suffering so much more than me. And that was really hard to like accept that part of my own selfishness in that, even though it's like not intentional. And, being deprived of sleep and nourishment to your body will just totally fuck with you.
Well, he was going to be suffering no matter what you did.
Right. Yeah,
So-
exactly. exactly.
Not
Yeah.
to interrupt here,
No,
but I mean,
yeah, you're right. You're
it's
right.
like
You're absolutely
you
right.
had no bearing
Yeah,
on that
right.
with your actions.
Yeah.
And I saw firsthand how hard you pushed yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was the morning that it happened, which would have been on the 9th. I think the event happened at like 5:30 in the morning. And then right after that, I ran down to the waiting room. And then that's when I just started like praying and calling Ike and Heather and Kyle, and all three of them having the same response. So I'm reliving this whole thing, like how things I had forgotten about, and like how they didn't believe me and they thought that I was blowing things out of proportion. And how I kept saying like, you need to hear me. You need to hear me. You need to understand what I'm saying. And while I was in that waiting room, while they were down there doing compressions on him, I got on Facebook Live. I think it's like the first Facebook Live I've ever done, maybe the second one. And I was just pleading for people just to drop what they were doing. If they were awake, just pray right now, and I'm just pleading, and I'm like, he's so strong. He's such a strong boy. He's going to, he's so big and he's so strong. And I'm just absolutely pleading for my child's life alive. And I watched the whole thing and I cried watching it. And like while I was watching it, I was totally reliving everything, the smells of the hospital, the sounds of the beeps, the squeaking of the shoes on the floor as the team's running down the hallway and stuff like that. And I just did exactly what I didn't want to do. And then the next day after that, I decided to open the autopsy and read the autopsy because I am just love to be upset and read that. And there was some stuff in there that really affirmed what I had in fact been seeing, and the timeline in which I thought I was really seeing it. So that was affirming. I did read that they had to use the paddle. Actually what brought him back was that they shocked his heart back. And that for some reason didn't land right with me. I don't know if it's the visual that you see in your head or if it's the fact that it's like, why the fuck did you do that? Why did you fucking bring him back? Just so I had to watch him die again. It's like that. There's that moment of just, I was talking to Rachel actually about this the day after I read the autopsy, and I was telling her about how that just was really just stirring deep in the pit of my gut. And she said, I know exactly what you mean. She said there was something in Colton's autopsy report that did the same to me. And a lot of it has to do with the reviving of your child. And I don't know why. It just is. It's so, because it's not like what you think it is in like film and stuff like that. And so it was a lot of that. It was a lot of just going back to old archived memories, basically. And so in the midst of all of that, while I was doing all that, thinking I was going to come into the studio and hang out with you guys, I was like, I just can't do it. I can't. I just needed to really have it and be in the shittiness.
And that was probably best.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have been looking at you kind of the same way I'm looking at you right now, but a little bit more worried.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I don't know if that's the right emotion.
No, yeah.
Because I don't know that I could do that.
Yeah.
If I could have the strength or whatever to, because I was going to ask if would you watch the whole video?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I watched them all.
And
yeah,
did it feel, I don't know if good's the right word, but did it provide you anything? I mean, you said that it brought back some of those feelings, things that like that, but were you looking for something when you went into
that's
it?
what I kept asking myself that, like every time I would pull it up in the morning, I'd go into the memories box and it'd be like, what are you searching for here, Tiffany? What are you trying to find here? And I'm not sure. I don't know if it's like, I have to assume that I just needed to make sure that this just was real.
And not a dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because as much as and we talk about the stages of grief, and one of them is denial. And there are days, weeks, months that I'm in full acceptance. But I think that week I was very much in some denial about it. Like, I just need to be sure
I get that.
that what I really saw really, was really real.
I get like for me, like that's the reason. It's kind of like, why do people listen to like songs that bum them out when they're sad? When they know it's going to make them more sad. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's something about it.
Yeah.
But like this for me, like I was the one that went to the hospital when the ambulance took my mom, and I was like beside myself when they told me that she was gone. And I told the doctor flat out, like, things aren't good over there where she's at. I don't know what they're up to, and I don't know what's going on. But my mom shouldn't be dead at 56 years old.
Yeah.
She was at my house on Monday, and because I said that, they had to order a state autopsy to do an investigation, and so they took her to Ankeny, and because of COVID, they were backed up like 2-3 weeks. So that's why my mom's funeral was like a month and a half after she died, which really prolonged things strangely. But when it came back, because of the way the court system works, he's technically her next of kin. So the autopsy report got sent to him. And I called, all the people that I thought I needed to call, and they're like, okay, well, you need to fill out this form to request it and send it to the state coroner or whatever. And I did all that, and they sent me a letter that was like, you're not qualified to have it. You can't have it. You can't know. And the only thing I got to know was her husband calling me and telling me what, I don't know how much of it was true or what, but he said that she had an ulcer that bled out, and she had a lot of liver damage, and that the coroner had asked if she was a heavy drinker, and he had the nerve to say to me, I told him she was a social drinker, but that's definitely not what killed her. And because we hadn't got to the funeral yet, I had to bite my tongue and just like pacify this guy. And to this day, I still haven't read that, and I don't know that I ever will. Part of me wants to, but part of me is real scared to know. You know what I mean? Like, really, not only like what killed her and like what really went on, but like how bad her addiction had gotten and what all she was doing, and
what's it do to what's the rest of the body?
And like I know there was probably other things. I know she was the prescription medications had gotten. I don't even know what she was taking. I don't know if she knew what she was taking.
Sure.
So maybe it's better that I don't ever read that.
Yeah.
What positive would it be?
Right.
Or would it just make you angry that
I don't know.
What if I was there to say, put down the pills? Or what if, somebody else was, I just think,
what would it be worth?
Pros, cons, to the situation.
And, there's something like, and I forgot about this when I read my sister's autopsy, and this is something that I think is maybe you wouldn't expect when you're reading something like that, but they go down to every detail of like everything from like the color of his hair follicles and like the type of skin and like how, soft white, and like it's so illustrated, so beautiful. And this person so well, every inch. The hair, the freckle, the mole, the crooked tooth, the cool 2 different eye color type things. And like, but it's done in such a matter of fact kind of way.
Cold, yeah.
And it's so cold, but at the same time, it's like they really see this person, not the same way we see them, but like they see them. And so it's very like descriptive. And so when and I just, for some reason, that was just really hard to like, because it's been so long since I've seen it You know, I forgot how like milky his skin was and how he had male pattern baldness, you know, like that's written in there and stuff. And like how his fingernails were cut, and you know, it's just a lot of detail, and it's hard to chew on that, you know, because you know, like, you know, your girls, you know, every square inch of those little suckers, you know, and it's like to read it knowing
You
that
say that, but I'm still like, where'd you get that bruise?
Yeah.
3 days ago.
Yeah.
What
Well,
the
that's
hell?
different. That's yeah. But it's like, I think too, like the tough part of that is like, that's the last time anybody will ever see it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
sure.
the last time that anybody will ever see that hair, and you know,
And I feel that kind of stuff a lot, so I really understand that. That's one of my bigger struggles. When you said, you know, the whole kind of being in denial thing, another part of me raising questions meant that I didn't get to see her that day. I just had to leave the hospital on the word of this doctor I've never met that he did everything he could.
yeah,
And my mom was dead. And that was hard to leave. That was super hard to leave. And to believe it. And then to wait like a month and a half. And then to see her in the casket was like, yeah, dude, like, shit is super real.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything was harder. I think that's a big part of why it was hard to yank me away too. You know, I spent every second of that visitation just glued to that casket. I wasn't outside talking with anyone. I wasn't getting drinks of water. I wasn't hugging anyone. I was there because that was it. I knew that was, even though she was gone, I knew that was the last time.
right. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then, like, but the hardest for me, I think, was right after the funeral when the car drove away.
Mm-hmm.
When we closed the door. Because that was it. That was like, that's it.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about you because you've shared that before. One of the videos is me in the parking garage on the 11th of September. It's like, I think it's like 3:45 or something like that, or quarter to, or close to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And the video is me in the parking garage, basically doing a live saying like, Ethan passed away at this time, and, you know, just filling people in. And then I remember sitting in their garage for, I don't know, 25 minutes. Like, I just could not bring myself to drive out of that garage. I just wanted, I could visualize myself getting out of the car, going back up the elevator, and like, I just need one more glance, one more look, one more, you know, and like leaving that garage was so hard. It's just, and then driving home that same day and then pulling onto my street and then waiting at the end of the street to like creep up to the driveway, and then creeping up to the driveway and then getting out of the car, and all three of us, me, Kyle, and Claire, just standing in the driveway, just so afraid to like go in because like there's still like tape on the walls from like the balloons, like the welcome home sign, and that somebody was gracious enough to go in and take down. But just like stepping into that house without him forever, it's just, was so hard. And that's the thing, like things I had forgotten about, those things that you forget over a year. It's just I don't know. I was reliving a lot of that stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
Do you see going down this path again next year?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that, because
Like, or it's been 5 years, I should go and rewatch these videos. Or
Yeah.
I better download them in case something happens.
I don't think I'll do it again. I don't think I need to. I really don't think I need to, because I asked myself that too, like when I'm doing the self-deprecating thing, like, Jesus, Tiffany, like, what did you want from this? Like, is this going to be like this every single year? But I'm giving myself permission. Like, if you need to do it, then freaking do it.
Like next year, I'll kick my coffee table while I'm watching
Right.
the videos.
Yeah.
And really just get into the pain.
honestly, I think I got what I needed out of that. I definitely think I got what I needed. But I do think that next year, I don't know, next year might be harder. I don't know. I don't really know. The day of, on the 11th of September, it's an interesting thing. I remember thinking this, the day that it happened, like, at least today was already a really horrible day, like, historically.
Everyone hates today.
Everybody hates today.
Yeah.
It is an international day of mourning, and so I take some satisfaction in that somehow. It was I remember that day just as clearly as I remember, this last September 11th. But we actually went to the Renaissance Festival the day of. We had toyed around with, like, we've got to do something. We need to get out of the house. And we just couldn't really decide on what to do, but we last minute decided to do the Renaissance Festival.
Did you dress up?
I didn't. I didn't. I'd like to next year. Claire and I have agreed that we are okay with being a furry family, so we might.
There's a lot of those.
There is.
Like, I don't know where you buy the tails, but when we were waiting to get in, there was a number of people with tails.
Yeah, Claire got a pink
Many,
one.
many tails.
Yes, lots of yeah, you can get them. There's lots of different booths.
And my kids kept touching the people's tails, and I'm like, yeah, you don't know where those tails have been. Like, seriously, let's get some.
If you started wagging and you're like, that's a real tail.
That's
Yeah,
real.
don't touch
Oh
him.
God, that's real.
Let's find the hand sanitizer. Oh God.
But I didn't dress up. I think I would do it again and maybe dress up. It was fun. It was really fun. We had a really good time. We laughed a lot. I had been messaging you. There was a lot of great comedy.
The stage performance. Did you see Puke and Snot?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. You have to.
They're classic. It was really good. Really good. We saw like a danger show with, like, knives and fire jugglers, but they also had this great comedic act. And then at one point I sort of just went rogue, and the fam went to go get a seat for one of the shows, and I had forgotten a bag at another booth that I had sat down, and I realized halfway. And so I went back to get it, and I just took some time for myself, and I wandered around, and I just watched the families with their kids, and because the last time I had been there was with Ethan and Claire, and I walked by the booth, like, that had all the picnic tables where we sat, and Ethan ate his turkey leg, and there were families there doing that and stuff. So, and I wasn't really sad. It was just like, yeah, this is what it is. This is what it's about, having kids and doing this stuff, and that was nice. Grabbed a beer and just kind of sauntered around and saw a couple people with their significant others on leashes, and I was like, I'm gonna head back to the fam. but it was good. We really enjoyed our time, and then the day came, and it went, and here we are again.
Right.
A new day. Just.
I thought about that day because, like you said, we talked quite a bit, and that was something I always did with my mom.
Yeah.
And same with Alyssa. Like, my wife, we talked about that just today. She lived up there. That's something she never experienced until my mom took her, and she never experienced family vacations until my mom took her, and she never.
Oh, wow,
so for her, there's a lot of firsts. That's, I think, why my mom was so special to her.
Sure.
Because she never really did. There was never any dissension there, never any,
mother-in-law.
Yeah, it was very. You're
Oh
one of us now. And there was times I thought she liked her more than me, but
there probably was times that she liked her.
They had their agreements.
But-
They're like, "Oh,
right,
don't you hate it when
yeah.
Justin
Yeah,
does
right.
this? Oh
Yes.
my gosh,
But
you noticed that too."
she would always say,
Yeah.
"Isn't Justin? Aren't you so lucky?" She's like, "Most mother-in-laws do not like their daughter-in-laws, and we love each other. You're lucky to have us." And like,
For
that
sure.
was so my mom. But I thought about that, and I also thought about, like, what you were saying. I the past week or so, I've just really, like, been thinking a lot about. I wish I was more of a video taker. I wish I had more live evidence of my mother's voice. I don't really. I got pictures for days, which is great. But
You probably love to hear that.
my sister was into doing that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But my sister was always around for the party and
Yeah.
and a lot of times it was, oh, mom's acting goofy. I'm gonna get evidence of her making a fool of herself.
Do you think that would be hard to see that?
I wonder.
Or better than nothing.
And the reason, and then I've
yeah.
wondered that too. And in that argument with myself, I went to my text messages in my phone because I don't talk to my sister very much. And I remembered she'd sent me some stuff
Yeah.
that month, like that week after mom died. So I scrolled back all the way to June of 2020, and I found a video of them singing "Happy Birthday" to her on her last birthday, and she was drunk. And what sucked about it is the memory that it brought up was that was the night that we were supposed to go out to dinner, and we had plans to go out to dinner. And I called her and I said, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And when we got there, she just didn't answer the phone because she wanted to hang out where people would let her drink. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, they all got to do that, and I didn't. So I don't know if it did more bad or good to watch it, but it was her voice. It was
Yeah.
her laugh. It was her seeming alive for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Well, if you just remove context, because that's still her voice.
Sure.
Still her laugh.
Sure.
Yeah.
It kind of made me wish I had other. I was like, I wish this wasn't just the only one I got.
Yeah. That's why I'm such a crazy person about it now.
Right.
Is that like, and like Claire and Kyle don't even give me a shit about it anymore. I'm just like, you know why I got to do this, right? And yeah.
Mom's watching herself on video again.
Oh God.
I've
what a
checked.
narcissist.
Yeah.
I've checked Alyssa's siblings a few times in recent months where, it's like after a family meal or something, Alyssa's mom will want a picture with all the kids, and the younger two will, Zach's 30, I think now, and Taylor just turned 19. And all these pictures, too many, like, because, grandma wants one and then another one. And there's been a few moments where I've had to put my arm around him and be like, dude.
You don't even know.
Yeah. Just do it. Be still. You don't even know. Yeah.
Because hopefully it'll be a very long time for both of them before that's all they got left. I've got boxes and boxes. I wish I had more.
Yeah.
Not enough.
That is interesting too. Like as far as like the stuff goes, I was kind of observing where I'm at with items, like his stuff, his Vans, his tennis shoes. I don't know why I did this, but the day we got home from the hospital, the day we came home on the 11th, I put his shoes under the piano.
I remember that.
Because it was just, I just wanted to be able to see him when I walked in, because he would usually always leave his shoes where I would trip on them or somewhere in that area. And they have been there for a year just collecting dust.
So you don't sweep.
It lands on, I sweep around, okay? I'm not a deep cleaner.
I'm asking the hard-hitting questions
Yeah, you
here.
are.
They're a
So
dusty
you don't
family,
sweep, so
the
you're
Mus-
disgusting.
The Mussmans, more like the Dustmans.
Oh, man, clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's back.
And he's back. Good recovery. So yeah, we were. I was cleaning. Thank you, Joe. And I said to Kyle, I was like, "Should I put them away?" And he's like, "I don't know. What do you think? What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I feel like I should put them away." I asked Claire too a few days later, or a few days before. I'm like, "You think I should put his shoes away?" She's like, I don't know. I don't think so. And I stood in front of those shoes for seemed like forever, and I finally just like picked him up and I put him in this basket that is inside of our coat closet, and I cried, because it's like, it's just that stuff. It's all that stuff. Like a few days before that, like I had to close his bank account, and I had been dreading that. And it's like, it feels like he's slowly getting erased. But I, like the shoes for sure. It's like, I just wanted it to be on my terms.
Right.
I wanted it to be like, obviously he was taken from me and I had no say in it. So like, I want to choose to let things go on my own time and stuff. But like, his clothes are still in my closet next to my clothes, so my clothes smell like him. It's just, those things, the sentimental things are still just as sentimental.
I have our house is a 3-bedroom house, and there's only the 2 of us in the house, so 2 of the bedrooms just don't get used, and the one in the back is where, so it's been 15 months now, a year and almost 4 months since all of it happened, and I you go through all the pictures to make the stupid boards and the shit and the dumb shit. Fucking collage of sadness.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking ode to shit you don't have anymore. You know what I mean? That you have to make yourself.
And just on a side note, I always think it's so crazy how you have like the pictures of the person alive and, you know, enjoying life right next to their dead body. So it's like alive, not alive.
Yeah.
Alive, not. It's like, it's so weird.
You know what would be really weird is if somebody like went in right before the visitation and I'm such an asshole, and took a picture of them in their casket and then put that on the board at the very end. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, and then people will be like, what the fuck? What? And they'll look, same casket, same fucking guy.
Or what you could do is, if you want to save your family the trouble, funeral planning, like, oh, I'm going to buy the plot myself. I'm going to buy the casket so my family doesn't have to deal with that. You just keep your graduation, like, photo boards and just laminate them. So that way, 60 years later, it's like, no, pictures are already done.
As you go through life, every 10 years, make a board. So they're just like up in an attic somewhere. So when it comes to funeral time, you just got to get an easel.
Oh my God. That's dark.
I have these like 4 or 5 cardboard boxes and like 3 or 4 like laundry baskets of just not just pictures of my mom, but like, it's like the 80s, 90s era of like, you turn in a camera and you'd get your envelope of pictures from Target or whatever, and like just endless envelopes of pictures of us as kids and her, and like all the way from her as a kid all the way up to us graduating high school and shit. And I went through every single picture when I did that, and they're still there, and I have not put them away and put them in storage because I know that I won't be able to do it without going through every single one of them again before I put them away, because I don't know why or when I'd get them out again. Mm-hmm. And I just don't feel like I'm capable.
Yeah.
That's just too much sad for me right now.
I get it. I get that. Yeah.
Like fucking, there isn't a surge protector that's going to stop from an overload of...
Right.
I'm not trying to do that to myself, so there they sit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see someday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not mad at myself about that.
No. Mm-mm. I think, and everybody who has ever talked about grief in that specific area has always just said, you'll do it when you're ready. Mm-hmm. And so I just pushed a little bit, it's like, I can do this one thing.
Oh,
but like
it was
nobody
right in your face too.
Yeah, and it's right in your face.
That's in the back bedroom. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
In the way.
Yeah.
You don't have to step over it every time you got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I know it. But there's like something that's like, it's the trickery that happens where I'm just like, oh, God damn it, Ethan, your shoes are in the way. It's like I did that strategically.
Sure.
So I could just make it feel. That's just so twisted. But that's how you do. It's how you cope. It's like how people who have children and they never change or touch a thing in their bedroom.
Right. It's like someone could be like, oh, that's kind of messed up. It's like, well, fuck. Like, isn't the fact that my kid's gone pretty messed up?
Yeah.
Like, aren't we like playing under a different set of damn rules at this point?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know.
It's no different than a picture on the wall.
I agree.
I mean,
totally agree with you.
nobody is like, oh my God, that's creepy.
Dude, you should
You've got your
frame Ethan's
grandparents'
shoes.
picture up. You know they're dead, right?
Tiff,
What?
you should frame Ethan's shoes in like one of those shadow box things.
Oh,
Hang it on the
that's a
wall.
good idea. They're huge though.
Get special lighting.
Oh
Right.
God.
I'd be like, are those
Right,
Michael
yeah.
Jordan shoes?
Right. Yeah.
Dude, get one of the lights that they have in the frozen sections at Hy-Vee now, so when someone walks by it turns on. Yeah, dude.
Oh, God, that's a freaking genius idea. You guys are so smart.
Yeah.
Before we tie it up for the night, I did want to share. I did have a lot of, over the last week and a half, little nuggets that I've been finding, like of Ethan, like how, like we were playing like a dice game, and the notebook that I used to keep score in was a notebook of Ethan's that somebody had given him when he had a stay at the 5 East Motel, one of the couple times that he was in the mental hospital, and somebody had given him this journal, and inside the journal was a note, and I know the girl, she's a nurse up there, and the note was like just this really caring, sweet thing. And it was about how caring and sweet Ethan was, and how he was absolutely worth, being in this world, and, his light was bright, and it was just really good, and it really touched me. And then on last Thursday, on it would have been the anniversary of his funeral, I got a message from a lady. Ethan had a lot of like what was called SCL, or supported community living workers, people who would help him make sure he was taking his medication, going to his therapy, basically trying to teach him how to like live with this mental illness.
That's what Lissa did for like 7 years.
It's a great. I'm so grateful for people like that. So I gotten a message the night before we pulled Ethan off life support from a lady who Ethan was currently working with. And it was just, and maybe someday I'll share those, but it was really detailed and so amazing about how their whole office just said that he was a miracle. I mean, they would talk frequently about like, look at how good Ethan is. Like, he's the golden pony, and he really did the thing. And, not so many people don't do it, and such a success story, and all these wonderful things. So anyways, here we are a year later, and I'm sitting at the park at East Park, and I was just having a moment and thinking about the funeral and thinking about him, and inbox dings, and it's this lady named Rachel, and she said, I'm not sure if I should reach out, and I wanted to reach out, but I didn't know how this would hit, and but I just wanted you to know I worked with Ethan when he was in Britt. He was at like I don't know what you call it, not a halfway house, but for people that need a little extra support. And he was only 17 at the time, or 18 maybe. And he was roommates with a 72-year-old autistic man.
Oh, wow.
The facility had never had a kid his age there. And so they didn't know how to deal with him, or a person his age there. They didn't know how to deal with. So a lot of the staff really misunderstood Ethan. And she kind of said that, and she said, I know Ethan really struggled when he was with us, and it just wasn't the right place for him. And some of the staff had a really difficult time with him, but I just want you to know, like, I really just enjoyed him so much. And he was just such a light, and he was so funny, but so soft, and he could be bigger than life, or just the meekest. And just like, she just described every single thing that I knew about Ethan. And she said, I believed in him. I knew what he was. I knew who he could be, and he did it. And he remains to be one of the most successful stories I've ever encountered in my whole career. And it was just like, yeah, that felt so good, because I always told him, like, you are so good. And like, I know you don't know that about yourself, but you will someday. You're just going to do great things, and you're going to overcome this, and you're strong. And he did. And it's just really affirming.
Yeah.
And good to hear other people see him the way that I did. And so that really was good the last few weeks to see those positive things. So
it's because you know it, but you know,
to have
it's
other
nice
people
to know other
affirm it.
people know
yeah,
it. Like,
for sure. Yeah. Cause I know not every, I think a lot of the years I was the only one in his court.
Yeah.
And, so it was good to know that other people were proud of him too,
It hasn't happened for a while now, but when Mom first died, I got a lot of messages from not only random nurses, but random patients of hers over 20 years of like people just being like, your mom was like the greatest.
So cool.
And like, either stories of patients that my mom like went above and beyond for that were, she was an OB nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And these ladies are pregnant, and
so scary.
Yeah, and like a lot of times people in the medical field can be very dismissive because they see 100 of them, and it's just like, you're just another number. And my mom was never that type of nurse, and she went way above and beyond to make sure everyone felt like they were all right. And it was nice to because for me the last couple of years, were hard, and it was nice to be reminded that how awesome she was.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice to know that people see the ones that we love the way we saw them too. That feels good. Oh, why did we come back here?
Why do we do this?
Why do we do this to ourselves?
Cathartic.
Yes, cathartic. Yeah, it was good. So we're excited because we're putting together some new guests to come in.
We've had some people reach out to us.
Yeah.
We're still looking for.
Going to tackle some new subjects. We're really, now that COVID's kind of ramping back up, and I have a lot of people that I interact with in the medical field. If you're listening to this and you are a nurse or a physician, a patient care assistant, anything like that, and you are on the front lines of this war zone, we want to know what your grief experience is like, and how it's changed you. So if you're listening to this, reach out to us. We would love to talk to you. Love to talk to you.
Slide into the DMs.
Slide right in there. Wear a mask though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're staying healthy. You're staying healthy. I'm healthy. Joe's healthy as a horse.
Yeah. Big horse, but
Big horse. Joe cut his hair. He cut his beautiful
did.
mullet.
I had a health checkup, and I wanted to make sure I hit my target weight, and so I figured like 7 pounds of hair will help.
That's wow. There, Justin. See, you don't even need to lose weight.
Oh, I don't have 7 pounds of hair.
No, on your
Anymore.
face you do. On your face, dude.
It's
That's
deceiving. Wet, yeah. It's
is
very absorbent.
Something to behold.
Yeah. Thank you, I think.
I have noticed. I will say, in the last few months, I've sort of just kind of let myself go in a lot of ways.
I'm glad you brought it up. No.
Thanks, Joe. And most days I'm good with it. And then I have good friends like Joe that remind me it's really bad. But so since I really like to be sad, I got on the scale last night, and that it's not looking good. So I'm going to try to get back on track. I'm going to start taking.
Here's what I do. There's a certain part of the bathroom floor where I weigh less than another part of the bathroom
floor. You don't think I haven't
floor.
figured that out?
So if you face south, you weigh less than if you face west.
Okay.
That at least at my house.
Okay. Notes by Joe. Weight loss tips by Joe. I'm thinking I'm just going to totally get rid of my scale. I don't even care about the number. I just want my pants to fit. They're not right now. They're really not. I'm getting into like I've always liked stretch pants. I've always liked leggings. But I can't. I'm miserable. My knees hurt. My guts hurt.
If someone like me can become so iconic in a pair of sweatpants,
Right.
anyone can do it.
It's all the rage now. I went to the high school football game on
It's gray
Friday.
sweatpants season,
Everybody is
apparently.
wearing sweatpants.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like the fur boots with the black
yeah.
leggings.
Oh, yeah.
No more.
I saw a
It's
meme that
sweatpants.
was.
I remember the fur boots and black.
I saw a meme that
great
was a bunch
trend.
of gray sweatpants on a rack at a store, and it said, "Sundress season is over, ladies. It's our turn to shine."
Yep.
And I also had learned through Facebook last year that like gray sweatpants season is apparently like there's a cross section of women who just love to ogle dudes' junk in gray sweatpants, and that's
Oh.
just a thing that turns
Oh.
certain ladies
Oh
on.
yeah, some chicks
And
love it.
I had no idea that like. You know, they say even a broken clock strike twice a day. Like,
Huh.
there's just a season every year where I'm just like killing it, apparently. But I had no idea.
I was going to say I didn't know that was a thing that you could view.
Yeah, no, I think
Because
I'm
I'm more of a neck up guy.
Yeah, and I
with
think
it,
the
so-
most
Oh, yeah.
disturbing part of it for me, and maybe it's that I'm naive, but I had no idea that ladies were just ogling dudes' junk as much as they are. Apparently.
Oh my God, Kyle said the same thing to me.
no
I don't know
idea.
how it came up. A couple days ago, I was talking about dicks or something. And I don't know. And I'm just like, he's like, well, how do you know? And I'm like, well, you can see a bulge. I mean, your eye, it's like boobs. It's like if it's protruding, your
Sure.
eyes are going to go there. If you got buck teeth, I'm going to look at them, you know, whatever. But, and he's just like, I didn't know like you could really see that stuff. And I was like, well, I'm glad to know you're not looking. And if you are, that's okay too. I accept you. But like, yeah, you could give the once over. I'm always looking at shoes. The first
Yeah.
thing I always look at is like a smile and shoes.
I'm just admiring your belt.
Right.
See,
In
that's
between
the-
the
there's
smile
all
and
those-
shoes
there's
is
all those-
the you know.
There's all those stereotypes about anatomy, and like I have gigantic feet but tiny hands, so you never know. This
is true. This is true. You don't know.
But it's like, it's just like kind of. You're right. You know what I mean. You're gonna notice. I always said to myself, like, if I had like, you know, like the obvious like door hanger like all the way to the knee in the sweatpants.
The Tom
you know what I mean?
Jones.
Like
Tom
what I would do is like when I saw someone look, when I caught their gaze and they looked back up, I'd just be waiting going, just nodding like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
buddy.
You see that?
You like that?
But you know,
Oh God.
it's not my plan. It's not my journey.
Oh, that is a great note to end on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So enjoy sweatpants season, everybody.
It is getting cold
I
out
am.
there.
I'm enjoying it. So.
Yeah. He's a man who enjoys it
my
all year
time.
round.
It's my time.
Next year, I'm going to get you a pair of sweatpants shorts, though, just because
shorts.
sweat shorts.
Yeah, it's for when you want to be cool but not too cool or too warm.
love it. Any final thoughts from?
Can I share something?
Please.
I forgot. Like not
Absolutely.
like a while ago, I screenshotted something so I wouldn't forget about it.
Yeah.
I didn't bring it up. Maybe we could do it at a different time. But Saturday was the anniversary of my mother-in-law's passing.
Oh,
Talked
yeah.
about that a little bit.
And one thing that I had read that morning, I shared with my wife, and it was this guy had tweeted at Norm Macdonald a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Norm Macdonald, comedian, just died here. Said, Norm, I don't know if you'll read this. My mom passed away and was wondering if you could give me some words of wisdom. You were the funniest ever. Like, I don't know why you're asking Norm Macdonald for
Right.
death advice, but what Norm tweeted out was amazing. He said, take all the love you have for her and give it freely to all that you meet. Your mom will look down upon you happy and proud.
Oh,
And so I shared that with
that is so nice.
my wife. I was like, you know, it was weird because I'm like, hey, let me quote Norm Macdonald at you on the anniversary of, you know, horrible crap happening. But I think it's beautiful because it's like, oh, I just want to, you know, feel that love connection again. And it's like, well, take that and just share it with everybody else
Yeah.
around. And your mom will be like, good on you for
Yeah.
sharing the love with people instead of just, you know, saving it inside and having it, you know,
Oh, that's so good.
eat at you.
I think I really needed to hear that. I've been really Haiti lately. Like
I feel that.
really
I feel
angry.
that.
Oh, thanks for sharing that, Joe. That was so good.
I know we should have ended on the dick pants thing, but I mean,
No, that was
Listen, the
that was
dick
much
pant-
better. Joe always
always
coming
be
in
there.
clutch with such a great episode until they started talking about dicks and sweatpants and really took a left turn there. Joe brought it back.
That's what we have him here for. Is bring us
Absolutely.
back.
He's
to
clutch.
it. Yeah, gosh, he's the kite string that keeps us tethered. Oh,
He didn't invent the rainy day. He's just got the best umbrella.
That's yeah.
I might use that for a line. Family friendly, funny.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh man, but it feels good to be back. It feels
Yeah.
good to hang out with you guys, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it feels good. Feels good to just get in here and get real sad again. You know what I mean? It's like I've been missing these stingy eyes, tears, and
Yeah.
I haven't been sniffly enough lately. I've been breathing freely through my nostrils, and it just doesn't seem normal.
I haven't been
Just-
wincing as much, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
yeah.
sore tomorrow
But
for sure.
we've missed you guys. Thanks for listening.
Yep.
We appreciate you. Like I said, I think it's not official, but I would call this the beginning of a new season, I guess.
Sure.
You know, we got some stuff we're gonna do, and we're gonna
Yeah.
have some times.
We're gonna have some times.
have
We don't
some
know
times.
what kind of times, but we're gonna have them.
Yeah, times will be had.
I love that.
Season whatever number, times will be had. That's all we can promise. But we appreciate you listening,
Thank you.
especially the people that have been listening for a while,
Yeah.
and new listeners alike. If you get something out of the show and you feel like someone else you know might be able to, feel free to share us.
Yeah.
That's our favorite thing,
Yeah.
for sure. So happy to be back. Hope you guys are happy to have us back. And until next time.
Hang in there, guys.